What is up, guys? Thanks for coming back to the channel, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you about variables. So what are variables? So variables is a thing that it's it's a thing that all developers use in when scripting. Just it holds data. It holds information. So let me just get into a script and start to demonstrate what I mean. Let me show you what I mean by this. So in order to define a variable, you gotta say local. That defines the variable. Now, after that, you gotta give the variable a name. So I'll just say my variable. It can be anything. It can be anything. You can name it anything you want. And once you make a variable, you gotta set it to a value. So in order to set it to a value, you say equals that little equal sign right there. So that's the first part. Second part, you gotta define what you want the variable to be set to. So we can say my variable equals. I'll just put quotation marks. I'm gonna write a string, and a string is just text. So anything inside these two speech marks, is a string. It's text. So we can just say, hello world. So yeah, that's a string. But if we play the game, that's not good. This is not going to do anything because you got to actually define the variable. So in order to define the variable, you say print my variable. So now we'll just print that. It'll output that to the console. The console meaning the output right here on this over here. Here's the output. I'm gonna put it over here. Oh no, not that. Give me 1 second. And over here. So yes, this is the output, this box right here. It tells you all the errors that go along in your script. So once we print that, it's gonna say my variable in this output right here, this output window. It's not gonna say my variable because it's gonna say hello world because that's the value of my variable. It's holding a value, and this is the value we set it to. So all we're doing is printing my variable, which is set to this. So it's gonna print the value. So run the game, which will run the scripts, and wait a little bit, and there we go. It says right hello world right there, and in green right there. So yeah, and you can set it to anything you want too. So variables are very useful. All developers use it because you're gonna need to use it, and a good reason why developers use variables because it saves a lot of time writing code because you're putting what you want in the variable, so you can use it later in your program. Imagine just saying, here, let me give you a better example now. So what if I wanted to change the brick color of the base plate in the Explorer? So this is the base plate. It's right there. So yeah, the base plate is this big grass part that my camera's on, and so if I want to say, let's see, if I want to change the material of the actually let's not, yeah, if I want to change the color of it, properties, there's a brick color property. So let's try changing that. All right. So let's just set my variable. I can set it to something else. It can be anything. I could leave it as my variable, but just for the sake of matter, I feel like changing it just so I know what it is. Brick. I'll just say color equals. Or actually no, let's say base plate. Yeah, base plate equals game dot workspace dot base plate because that's the object in here in the Explorer. Right here. It's in the workspace. The base plate is a part that's in the workspace. Right here. It's underneath. The workspace is a folder and it holds most of the stuff in your game. That base plate's in there. Along with the script, camera, and terrain. Those are all in the workspace right now. But if we want to change the color of it, we can say, hold on. All right. Base plate dot brick color. That's a property. Make sure it's spelled exactly like that. Uppercase B, uppercase C. Brick color is a property of a part, of any part. It's a property. The brick color value right here. That's what we're saying. So the base plate, and when you do a dot, that just means you're going down a level. Really, you're adding on something. Once you hit dot, you're going down a level. Like it just means you go on to the next thing, and the next thing we want is brick color, and that's a property. So, and here's another example. So a base plate dot, and there's all these things that you can edit, like shape, size. Those are all properties in here, in this tab on the right. It's good to know. So brick color equals, we gotta set this to a value. This is not a variable. I mean, the base plate is a variable, but we want to set the brick color to a value. So if we want to change it, you gotta say brick color new. That's a keyword, and you have to have brick color equals brick color new, just so you can choose your own color. And if you say dot new, it just means you're gonna create a new one. Yeah, let's just say really red for now, and that's a color. So really red is right here. So I can run the game and watch what happens. It turns red. I got a red grass base plate. Isn't that cool? You can change this to any color you want. It can be bright orange, for example. There's a lot of colors, and if you need to check out the colors, they're in here, or you can there's a drop down list, and you can see all these options for what you're looking for. So yeah, bright orange, it's gonna change to bright orange. Yeah. So yeah, that's how variables can be very useful, because we're using a variable. It's called base plate, so it kind of shortens the code for us, like, because we already defined what the base plate is. And if we did not define a variable, it would still work. Like, for example, so if I do, let's remove this variable right now, and if we do game dot workspace dot base plate, there's more code to it. It would still work, but there's just more code attached to it, because this part right here, we're saying that's what we had in the variable a moments ago. That's what the variable was, because a variable would be game equals to base. I'll just say base game dot workspace dot base plate. So that's exactly what we're doing, but we're just doing it here without defining a variable for it. I prefer doing a variable because it just makes it shorter, and we don't need this because we're not defining it. So yes, that's, if you understand, like this, this is just a longer way of doing it. It's the same thing. We're just going into the game, which is the whole thing. It's the game, and inside the game you got the workspace, which is right here. That's what this is. Workspace. It's a folder. And inside of that, you will see there's a base plate right here, and its class name is a part. So any part will have that brick color value in it, property in it. So brick color base plate dot brick color. So the brick color meaning right here, the color of it, and equals brick color dot new. This is a keyword. So if you want to define a new color, then you should probably put brick color, or else it won't work. Because if you see if you want to change the brick color value, you gotta say brick color, and it doesn't have to be new. There's other options too, but I'm not gonna talk about that much, because this is variables based on this video is based on variables. So it's just so if I run the game, it's still gonna change color. Um, so yeah, it's just a longer way of doing it. If and the other way I showed you earlier is just defining a variable. So you would just say local base equals. You can change this to whatever you want. The name does not matter. Equals game.workspace.basepoint. So that's exactly what we did here. But if I just put base here, it's shortening it. It shortens it, and we don't have to write much code. Because imagine saying it the long way, like if you want to do something in their code, and you have this really long line, it's best to put what you need in a variable so you can access that later on in the script. It's a data store. I'm not a data store. It's like a storage saver kind of thing. So yeah, it just holds values in it, and that you can mess around with in your code. And yeah, this should still work. So yeah, that's pretty much what variables do. It holds data for you to use later in your script. It's a storage container, really. It holds values in it. It can hold string values. It can hold numbers, objects in your game. It can pretty much hold anything, or it can hold everything. But yes, variables very useful. You're gonna need them if you want to get into coding. You're definitely gonna know how to use variables, and a lot of programming languages use variables. Very important in programming in general. And yes, this is and also the local right here. You're just defining a variable, just saying local. Oh, yeah. And one more thing I would like to show you before I end the video. Um, you know how it says local right here? Local, that does define the variable, but that also means this you cannot access a local variable in all of your code. So if you have um uh, like you cannot access that. Let me just make an example. So if you wanted to define it up here, it would not work. Let me just show you. I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna paste it right on this line. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. Hold on. Alright, I'm going to copy that, paste it on this line. And you see that there's like a little orange line underneath it. That just means because it's not defined yet. It's just not, because we wrote the variable underneath it, so it doesn't know what this base means. It doesn't know what base means. But that's because we said this line before we actually written the variable. Because it doesn't know what base is. That's undefined. But if you want it to get to that, and if you want it to if you want your variables to be seen through the entire script, then don't not write local. Just leave it like that. So just define the name and set it equal to something. That's all you got to do. And now it knows what the variable is. It's not local. It's pretty much like it's pretty much a variable that will be seen throughout the whole script if you don't add local. So even though it's above it, it's gonna look here and see the variable we have named base. So we run the game and wait for it. Did I have a typo? Index to attempt to index nil with brick color. But bottom line, it's okay. I can probably figure that out, but I'm not gonna waste time in this video trying to figure that out. But yes, you can definitely add code above the variable, if you don't say local. So yes. So I hope you guys got something out of this video. Really appreciate you guys watching. Really do. Smash the thumbs up. Comment if you want to see more videos just like this one. And I'll probably do a lot of more beginner tutorials, like maybe functions. What else? A lot more. I'll do in the future. But yes, I appreciate you guys watching this. And stay safe, everybody. Hit the like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one.